It's another Celebrity Friday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Mariah Afolabi Brown, as always. I have the ladies with me. Hello, ladies.
Hi, Mariah.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you very much. So,
I'll buy it tomorrow.
yesterday, somebody, my friend called me. I was saying, how come we didn't tell us about birthday? I'm like, this birthday thing, I was even talking about that reminded us yesterday. Please, this birthday thing is not that. But I'm happy that this time around, I'm checking out the ladies of Your View out with the crew. Strictly lady of Your View. I thought you'd be happy. Okay, I guess you're not happy.
I'm
I'm trying to
eating like
build the excitement. So if you're not excited with me, just me. Because I'm at the verge of going with Teshimo.
Oh, Jesus. We're excited. Please, we're excited.
So if you're not excited, don't just stay in my house. It's very easy.
No.
But
to
be excited.
I would really like Nima to be there, actually.
Do you expect me to be
I
excited?
would like to be there because we have not really had that Your View ladies hangout in a long time. Back in the day, we used to do that. But
we didn't meet
in
that.
In the recent times, we haven't done that. So
back in the day,
I want us to. So I would really like for Nima to make an attempt to be there. So I'm leaving your slot regardless. If you are there, I'm leaving your slot.
No, it's here out in the open,
Yes,
madam.
so I'm leaving your slot.
She knows my senior madam will not hear of it. She doesn't. Mommy, coming from open day, Mommy, you dare not. Our defending project tomorrow, and our adire is made and submitted. We'll be there early so that we'll get marks. But then again, when I go with her, I could have left her. I usually don't attend her defense with her. But then I have to do my own. I'm usually on the panel for the senior secondary. I think the school, again, they've written already. All these had been put ahead before the birthday plan started.
Anyways, how are you doing, Novia Julu?
I'm doing great. Yesterday, I had a shoot in the house. And the guy who was coming to do the shooting for me, I'd never met him before.
It's a shooting. Some of us don't saw them.
Okay.
I
was doing a production, so they had to shoot something with camera.
This is Nigeria.
Nigeria.
So when he came yesterday, I have never felt short in my life.
It's really tough.
That guy was 6'7". I was because I'm 6 feet and I'm used to being in a room and I'm like the tallest person. For me to see a guy who, my father is 6'3", I don't feel short with my father. But yesterday I was just looking, I said, you're tall.
6'7", that's a tall man.
That was huge. I told him, I'm going to say this because you're really making me feel short. And now I understand when people say, please don't stand close to us, don't wear heel and stand. You make me feel short. I felt short yesterday, really short. So I had a nice time.
How are you?
I'm fine. Had a bit rough yesterday. My children, the bus on our route couldn't make it. I drove like crazy and I still didn't get my children. So they had to take public transport home and I felt they would be cold. Especially that little one, he was just there shaking. I really felt this motherhood thing, sometimes maybe I'm taking it too much to heart, but these things worry me. They run me to the brink. I remember shouting at the proprietor yesterday. I shouted at the top of my throat. I hate it when these kind of things happen. I couldn't just meet up. They were making effort on this, but the person that was in charge of the children left without a phone. So all my driving, I drove to school and back around for 1 hour. Couldn't find my children, and I got home and met them. They had gone through the rain.
Talking about motherhood, honestly, we hardly slept last night, and it's because my son has been wheezing, coughing, and all that. So we put a humidifier in the house, so it's helping him to sleep. But last night we now put a little bit of this. There's a product I don't know. I think it's eucalyptical. We put it inside eucalyptus actually. We put it in the water. And I think we put too much, so it affected the boy.
Whoa!
And the guy was just.
Did you make him ingest?
No, we just put it in the water. So the vaporizer, the vapor was a bit much for him. Oh my God.
And that thing can be
jeez, his eyes, everything was just, he was itchy all night. And we couldn't sleep. And now, I didn't know that was the problem. So the guy kept crying all night. I'm thinking, what's wrong with you? We fed him, he refused to breast milk. Carried him down, everything, he refused everything. What the prayer? Started praying. You know, when you do everything and nothing, start to kaskabash. After I was kaskabash, I thought, okay, look at this child. What is wrong with this child? Eventually, I now figure out the problem. So I actually didn't sleep most of the night. Just to make sure I could
So you took him out of that room?
Like, open the windows. I could let the stuff go out.
Ventilation.
But cross ventilation works fine for children when you think they don't breathe well.
No, she's talking about the eucalyptus
I'm just saying. So I put off the fans, whatever we have at home, and open the doors. I always say to my husband, oh, I need the air. And the children actually, he doesn't understand. We've had this battle back and forth.
I'm going to invest in getting plants in the house.
What kind of plants?
Oxygen, just living plants.
Oh, okay.
It gives fresh air.
Do you have space for that?
Just little small plants in the windows, just around the house, just to make to have that nice oxygen. Because honestly,
part of the party thing we were doing, I told you, is gardening. So your
Saturday.
kids are actually going to go home with a potted plant. So
this party!
That's be a template for new parties. So, but that's
We're looking forward to
aside
it.
from the party, what else is happening?
Well, someone promised to bring birds. So we had like birds coming on the day.
Right.
But I haven't been able to get in touch with him since. I hope he does. We just want to teach the children about, you know, nature and how to preserve our nature. And let's give
Yeah,
not
just
to
an
plant.
Igbo kind
It's
of.
not
I'm
Igbo.
telling
This is
you.
our new reality.
I'm
We'll
telling
let
you.
waste and plastic destroy us, and we'll have nothing left for our children to enjoy on earth. So that's what we're trying to
That's
teach them.
good. I can't wait
Is
for
there
this
small chops?
party.
Yeah, organic small chops.
Which one is that one again? Miriam.
They say I should not be doing this. They say I should be doing like
I
this.
got you organic. There's organic wine and stuff like that. We'll just see. We'll see.
Make I enjoy this party.
Organic small chops. I've never heard that.
Because
Just
I'm
order
not afraid.
pounded yam.
My daughter asked that would
Madam.
there be candy floss? I said no. She
What's
was like,
that?
why?
Okay, you can do whatever you like for the children, but since we are coming with our children, please can I get pounded yam? Or amala, please, so you can do it for only me. And I know when they bring it eventually,
Let's
people
go
will
and
be
break it
scrambling.
Friday, please. Let's get our viewers involved in this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back. We'll start with the nation. Outrage over deadline on cattle settlement project. Banks to lend 60% of deposits or be sanctioned. That's a good. I wish I read that story. Police detain slapping Senator Abo in Abuja. Our strategy is okay, says service chiefs. Reps to probe go for mace snatching. And UTME candidates held for raising score. Let's start with this outrage over the cattle settlement project.
Yeah, so the governors had to calm the situation down yesterday because the northern youths were upset and agitated that the Ruga settlement bill was cancelled. So they gave the federal government 30-day ultimatum that he has to rescind that decision for the suspension. And Ohanes Ndigbo is also saying that the people should be ready to fight back, since these people are saying that we don't want it suspended.
What's the northern youth saying exactly? What's their plight? Why do they want it to be?
Okay, they are telling the federal government that they need this Ruga settlement, and so they shouldn't suspend it. They should go ahead with it, whether any other person likes it or not. But the Igbos are saying, we can't take this. You can't fight the federal government for suspending what everybody has said they don't want.
Here's my criticism. The northern youth, over time, we had a time when they called out, government, and we expected that they will be picked up. I think 2 years ago, Morayo, we expected that they will be picked up by the DSS and nothing happened. So this group of people do not know how to talk. I am sympathetic to that cause because I don't believe anybody is a better Nigerian than any other person.
At all.
Or one tribe is better. These people are displaced. Their lands has been taken over. They were not resettled. And this is not today that government has had to settle a group of people that they displace. But when you come out and make seditious statements, what will happen?
If the federal
This is
government
a
doesn't
government
cancel in
policy.
30 days.
Government said they've done an holistic investigation by the vice president, and that policy they wanted to use was hijacked by some suspicious elements. They had to put a stop to it. They did not say they will not find a solution to you. So don't come out and threaten the country like, we don't understand what you're going through. Let government do what government needs to do. And this is why I would join Cardinal Kuje to say that it's the insincerity of government over time that make people so suspicious. It's not exactly people being suspicious of each other.
This is not the government now.
No. Cardinal Kuje in the Vanguard broke it down.
Okay.
If we have run a representative democracy, we cannot go there and say whatever we think, all of us. So there are people in the National Assembly who are supposed to represent us, people in houses of Assembly of States, and across board. He didn't say the federal government, he said all governments. The insincerity of government over time. So if this Ruga policy was properly investigated, communicated well to the people, people would probably understand it well, and these agitations would not have started.
Let's move on.
Then you stop it, and then some people start to talk.
We talked about the senator that slapped a young lady some days back. He's been invited by the police. He went there himself, and he's been interrogated. but we're not sure if he's been detained. So it's good to see that the police has taken it up. It does not matter that he's a senator. And it just goes to show what the power of the citizen, you know, how important it is that if you stand up for your rights, that eventually you'll be listened to. And
quickly,
so
there was another case that came up where a journalist accused him as well.
A journalist is accusing him of not paying him his money.
Since 2014.
Yes, that he helped him do his campaign trail. But
and he beat him up.
Allegedly.
Allegedly beat him up.
We'll see how that goes.
In karma, but it seems like all your dead bodies are...
Fire fury, pipeline explosion kills 2, houses burnt, vehicles destroyed in Lagos. Uproar in House of Reps, more trouble for Senator Abo. Prof at center of Nigeria-Ghana face-off opens up. Article tenders 3,465 result sheets against Buhari. And Koza, police probe Pastor Fatoyinbo over alleged rape. This fire that happened in Alimosho local government was really a sad story.
Ijedodo area of Ikotu. So that area is highly populated with pipelines, underground pipelines, and they have vandalism happen there as of habit. So we have the military people who are supposed to secure these people, compromise security as well, and join. But this one led to a fire. An account, and the NNPC's account in the Vanguard saying that they've done their part. They're not supposed to secure. What they've done is try to bury the pipelines further. I say there's no solution in that account. Because no matter how deeper you bury the pipelines, these people just simply dredge like a borehole on it.
Those pipelines.
Securing the pipe, we are our own enemies.
Yeah.
So whether the government is spending our commonwealth to secure pipelines that we should be securing ourselves.
What was even sad, Nima, of this story was how one of them died. One of the gentlemen was a bus driver. And his colleagues were telling him that, listen, there's a pipeline bus here. The fuel is coming out. Leave the bus. But he was insisting that he needed to take that bus out, and the bus wasn't even moving. So he now called on his friends to come and push the bus. They pushed the bus, but they said, don't start the engine. The moment they realized that he wanted to start the engine, they fled. Left him. He caught fire. He ran, tried to jump in the canal, but unfortunately the canal was already filled up with flames.
Oh, God.
So he practically died, burnt to ashes.
Oh, God.
Let's see. Let's move on to... There's a story I want to tell. There's another story I want to take. The uproar in the Senate and the House of Assembly, actually, by Jabia Mila.
These two factions in the PDP have two factions now trying to gain leadership of the minority and of the House. And the Speaker has recognized one part of
Let me dramatize what happened. There's a drama there.
Actually, tell us.
So, Chinda, who's there are two factors. There's a Chinda and there's Elumelu. Now, Elumelu is the preferred, has been the one that's been accepted. So, Elumelu walked in with the Speaker of the House. Chinda, who was not part of the procession, came earlier and sat on Elumelu's seat. As they walked in, he was trying to raise an objection. The Speaker, Bajamile, said, I'm not going to listen to you.
Point of order.
Point of order. They're trying to raise an objection. Now said, go back to your seat because I'm not going to listen to you. Number 2, don't underestimate the resolve we have agreed upon in this House. Go back. I'm not going to listen to you if you're not on your own seat. Saying that was Elumelu's seat and he shouldn't be there. That's
and the House members continue to hail him. Baja.
Just that one is other one that doesn't concern Nigerians. That one is just act properly. Moving on to
in Katsina State.
The Punch. Article tenders Niger Yobe assaults results actually says INEC has 2 different outcomes in local government. Lagos pipeline fire kills 2. We mentioned that already. Bandits kill 27 in fresh attacks in Katsina communities. Supreme Court rules on Osun governor's case today. Oyetola. Police quiz detain Abo for assaulting nursing mother. Drama as Gbajabiamila stops Chinda, others from raising leadership issues at plenary. Ruga Nwodo reacts to northern group's threats as Igbo to defend themselves. Okay, Katsina, what happened there?
State. So people in Katsina State are protesting the continual butchering and killing of their people. On Thursday, about 11 people were killed. Some say 16. These bandits had come into this Kankara local government. They had gone into a particular trading area, Maidabino, and started shooting sporadically. People were killed. 10 bodies were first discovered, and then 6 bodies. So the protesters took these bodies to the emir, and together they all went to bury these people. The emir is assuring them that the government is looking into it and trying to work. But this is something that's just occurring over and over again, especially in this state.
Is it that like there's
we have to run off. We have to go further on that. But Uyetola and Alileke should be able to hear the verdicts today. So we'll find out. Let me take one last paper. Daily Trust. Imports low prices hurt maize farmers. Who has that story?
So I have it. So in 2017, some multinationals were giving waivers to import maize as poultry feeds. Right. And that waiver is supposed to have ended. Now we have a surplus production of maize in the country, but they're still cutting corners using this waiver to bring in maize, and to the detriment of the local producers of maize. We have become sufficient in this production enough to export, but because of these people's greed, we are suffering. So governments, those in charge of agriculture, should look into this particular means. We are trying to
help our farmers
to be sufficient, within the country in agriculture.
So it doesn't seem like we are leaving it out. Fatoyinbo, Busola has made a proper complaint to the police. And so, yes. So, and another lady has come out to also say and give her story that how she was raped. So now it is not just, social media justice.
And alleging that the wife was
so it has been taken, the law has, she's reported to the police, and let's see.
Like you just mentioned now, it seems like the wife is being accused now of being an enabler, aiding his excess.
Wow. We'll continue the follow-up on this story and see how that takes us. Let's go on a break. When we come back, lots of social media drama going on. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Woo! Thanks for staying with us. So the story of a 23-year-old man who raped a 4-year-old girl caught our attention. According to reports, Ebilomo raped Khloe when she was just 4 years old. He was sent to Kuje prison, I think, for 3 years, and is being released today. However, some celebrities and Nigerians are saying he deserved a life imprisonment, or others are saying he should be, let me not use that word on TV. What's the best punishment for a rapist? Joining us on the show is a Nigerian film, television, theater, and voice actor. He's best known for his roles in the TV series Giddy Up and has won several awards. Welcome with us, Deyemi Okonlawon. Good to have you. To join the conversation, 0708066814. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. We'll get into your interview a bit later, but let's just have this conversation. Let me start with the ladies. When you heard the story, I mean, we're all saying that when you're accused of something as grievous as rape, you should be convicted and then sent to jail. Now, this happened in this case. So you would think people would be satisfied that he's done 3 years.
We're not.
But suddenly he's out and people are saying, why is he out so soon? The law has taken its course. Now, going back to the question I asked Nima the other day when this whole issue of Pastor Bimbo came up. And I said, listen, Pastor Biodu, what are we trying to achieve? Finally, if the laws in our land, are they sufficient to get us the kind of judgment we require? So we're making all this hula balloon noise. For what? For these 3 years? Who would like to go first? Go ahead, Maria.
Okay, so from what I read, the penal code in the north, criminal code in the south, it actually says life imprisonment. But I guess, lawyers, and they know how they figured this out. But I think it's really unfair that the man gets to spend only 4 years and then goes on with his life, while the person he has, who's gone through this experience will have to live with the lifelong, effect of this traumatic experience. I feel that the way they do it abroad, we could bring it here, where when you actually leave, no matter how long you spent in jail, when you leave jail and come back into the community, you register yourself as a sex offender. So people know you. And when you move from one community to the other, you must always do that. I would even say, let's take it further. Give them some sort of bracelet that blinks so that when they're around you, walking in the neighborhood, you can tell who they are.
I'm more upset because I know that our prisons do not really rehabilitate criminals. When they come out worse most of the time. Just give him a couple of years. He will do the same thing again and they will hold him. We've had stories.
You're judging him already.
No, I'm just telling you because of the nature of our prisons. And I also believe that the punishment for this crime is not commensurate. We need something that would deter people when you hear something like they cut off that instrument that you have used to perpetrate that act, so that people will hear and know that I don't want to do this. It helps to deter them. But when you make it easy,
I mean, do you agree with that?
Prison is easy for me.
That, I mean, what do you think is the right punishment for this kind of situation?
Okay, so first of all, I usually have a problem with the way we react to issues. We tend to get very emotional and not very logical about it. Something very grievous has happened. You just stated what the penal codes, both the North and the South state. You said life imprisonment?
Yes.
Because I'm not aware of what the law says. But if it's life imprisonment, then we can actually push for stricter punishments.
Right.
You know, this can be extended. Let's see whether we can do that. On the other hand, someone needs to understand that for a man of that age to do that to somebody 4-year-old,
You're sick.
is sick. There's a problem. This is a mental problem. And is anybody going to address that? I mean, that they release you from jail doesn't mean that they should release you from psychiatric care. You can spend the rest of your life there. You know what I'm saying?
Let me come to Nima because of the legal angle. Let us know, can the penal code, is it correct, number one? Number two, if it is correct, can we actually get an extension?
Underage rape actually comes under the Child Rights Act, and I think all laws have taken cognizance of it. But I'm not aware what the penal code says. Under the Child Rights Act in the Southwest here, particularly Lagos, it's a life sentence. The issue for me is beyond. Most people might not understand what is happening here. This is about a trial that is not complete. Somebody has been held awaiting trial or probably undergoing trial for 3 years. The court would see it necessary to grant him bail if he applies for bail, so which is most likely why he was released. I do not think that 3 years is the sentence that the court will give him for an underage rape. So I need the details of this particular case, I mean the court details of it, to see whether he was completely discharged or the court just granted him bail, continuing trial.
Okay, so thank you for taking
most likely
bringing us there.
Situation.
If it indeed what you just said, we're bringing back a potential rapist back into the community because he has paid for bail?
No, the system of justice that we run is supposed to be innocent until he's convicted. And it's unfortunate because some people have been on the other side. Somebody might be falsely accused, made to suffer awaiting trial, spend 10 years in jail for a crime they did nothing about, only to be released later with sorry. So who compensates that crime? The court is not going to be sympathetic to one side. The court is supposed to be objective and balanced, and that's how a court sits. We bring this sentiment up because the police are the ones who charge. They're the ones who delay and frustrate prosecution. And they're the ones who would get a man like this to spend 3 years and be allowed to go home because they didn't do their job well.
It's important we bring this kind of conversation because people need to understand where the problem is. From what you're saying now, we have issues obviously with the law. Because I remember that issue with the man
with
in
investigation
Ikpori,
and prosecution.
There's a man that raped a young girl in Ikpori, and he was brought back. I mean, he paid his bail immediately and was back in the society.
And he was moving around. The girl was seeing him.
That man every day.
Oh, God.
So prosecution is an issue. The laws, Nima, I think is still an issue.
We're doing enough advocacy on when rape happens that, the evidence is what we need. So once it happens, don't wash, don't clean. Take the child quickly to a primary, in Lagos particularly, primary health care centers already have rape kits waiting for any report like that. You go to the police, they will refer you to the family unit and investigate and get the evidence, because if we want to prosecute, that can sabotage it.
Yes,
so once
okay.
So hold on a minute. Once that is gotten, that helps prosecution. In this case, it happened in Abuja. We don't know how far they were able to get the evidence. We don't know the details of the trial to know why it was granted bail. Now, if the charge and prosecution do their job, most likely he will get a life sentence. But he can be allowed his bail if the court is saying that this is stretching. The prosecution is not doing a good job of substantiating their charge.
Even the life sentence is not enough for me, I'm sorry. Andrew here says, 3 years is too short for this pedophile. The punishment should be minimum of 15 years. He has destroyed the life of that 4-year-old girl. We need to put the creature on the sex offenders list. Tell your guests we are not being emotional. It's very logical. Then Ayo Emmanuel says, I think 3 years is really small. I ask myself now, is he better? The nature of our prisons can't even help.
So based on what Nima said, there's a possibility that he was just awaiting trial. But either way, he's back in the community.
Right.
Yes,
Then
and
let me
we
come
have
to you.
stories of
Let me
people
hear your thoughts on it. This man, God forbid any of our children go through this, but you're the mother of a 4-year-old child who has been allegedly raped by this man and he's back. How should that mother, what should she do at this point?
So I'm the father.
Okay, you're the father.
In this case. If I say what I'm about to say now, they can use it against me if any such thing happens.
Right.
So let me not say it.
Oh, God.
But you
Because
see,
that person would not. I don't think I will report this case to any police.
You
anything.
handle
I
it
would
yourself.
handle it myself.
Yeah.
You know, there was a case on social media that people have been talking about recently because of the rape allegations going, and she was talking about, you know, when she heard about the stories, people coming out and telling their stories. So she calls her sister, or she's talking to her sister, and she finds out that her sister was actually raped. And then she calls her much younger sister at home to find out, because that person lives in their area.
right.
To find out that her much younger sister was raped and has been, you know, discharged. And her mother that lives with her did not know. They had to take the child to the hospital. So that man lives within them in their community,
Yes.
and he had always said to her, if you tell anyone, you would get in trouble. And so she never said anything to anybody.
So if we look at this on a much deeper level, we've said the laws have issues. We said persecution has issues. Culturally, there's a problem.
Yes.
There is.
There's a problem because, to be honest, there's so many conversations I've had with so many different people, male and female, who've had sexual experiences way before they should ever have. 4 years old, 5 years old, 8 years, 9 years. And I'm wondering, what is going on? What did our parents not do right? What did the children, what were they not taught about speaking up? You know, why were kids so afraid to
speak
report
up,
things like this to their parents? What really went wrong?
So the entire, everybody, the celebrities are talking, everybody's against this man being out, but I want us to talk to her mother or her father, wherever they are. Should they take themselves off that community, relocate elsewhere, or what should they do? Because at this point, I don't know how I'm going to face that kind of a person.
You know, back in the days when such things happen, general crime, sex crime, you know, the person has been caught, they drive you out of the society. You are ostracized. You know, you are so evil, we can't even live with you. Pack your things and go. You are called an outcast. But right now, we release them from the prisons. We let them mingle. We have not even taken them somewhere to be tested, to be evaluated. Let's know if it's a mental problem, a mental illness. You know, we just mingle with them in the society. I think we should be making bills right now, passing bills to make sure that when such people come out of prison, they have a place to stay, to be evaluated. We don't have that.
That's if they're guilty, but
Some states already have sexual offenders records.
Sorry?
Some states already have sexual offenders records, and I think
have
those
that.
are the states in the right direction. Those calling for death or something do not even understand the justice system. We have people are waiting there. There's no hangsman working in Nigeria. Nobody's applying for that job. Nobody's interested in being
I have to go on a
hangsman.
break, unfortunately. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll continue the conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So still on this issue of rape and all that. Demi, I know you did a short film recently, right? Is that true?
Yes, it's
Yeah,
true.
I've seen it yesterday.
And I know that you've been very passionate about this issue of rape. And this whole week, we've been talking about rape all the way. Why did you do that film? Was it because of what happened? Or, I mean, have you always had it in mind to do something
No,
such?
it was because of what happened. So when the whole story of Busola Dakolo came out, you know, there were a lot of people who were coming up against her saying, your story is incredible, you know, it couldn't have happened the way you stated it. We looked at that, and then we looked at the fact that, look, there are different sides to every story. There are 3 sides to every story. You know, there's the one person's side, the other person's side, and then the part that we are not sure about. And so we shot, the first part was to take Busola Dakolo's story as it was. And then show people how it's possible that this thing actually happened the way she said it. And so we shot it exactly that way.
Oh.
Yes. To put it in front of people's faces. And
People don't get it.
Yeah, don't get it, you know? And for me, that's the power of film. You want people to see stuff, you know, and feel the emotion and the pain and the suffering.
Wait, as people, we're talking about this man who's been released, the child, the mother, this culture of silence, which you said earlier. How do we break this issue of ethnicity, religion, and what's the third one? Yeah, ethnicity and religion. Like, oh, if I don't want to live with this type of person, that the people, they're always raping in their own side. Oh, these people are like
Their
this.
tribe.
Their tribe. They're like that.
Their religion.
How do we start getting people to talk? But before we go there, let's take this call from Real One. Real One, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, you're live.
Hello, hello.
Oh, it's listening
You're
to-
live. Don't listen to your TV. Listen to me. Go ahead, please.
About the person being released for the rape.
Reduce the volume of your TV. I'll have to cut you off if you can't do that. Hello? Yes. So, how do we get children, mothers, fathers to start talking about the experiences? Because Busola's testimony obviously started this wheel.
Yeah.
But gradually, it's gradually winding up. People are not, they just keep being like, oh, it's normal, it's okay. We're the new gist. What's going on now? How do we keep that flame where people know and know that we must start talking?
For me,
about
I
experiences?
think we waste too much time teaching our children about what to worship, who to associate with, and all that. I think we should go back to the basis of why we are here as humans and let our people know, let our children know that we are all connected. We are different expressions of one God. Whether you're a Muslim, Nima is here, whether you're a Christian, whether you're an atheist, it doesn't matter. We've been brought here for a reason, and that reason is to love. So if I see you as another expression of me, I wouldn't want to hurt you. So if I see something happening with my neighbor's child, I should speak out. I shouldn't say because she's Hausa or because she's a Muslim, it's not our business, it's their tribe. I should speak up because the person is a human being and the person is like me.
I'll bring this question to you. When this Busola matter came up, when we're having, lots of people were having conversation, somebody said that, Mariah, that the marriage is going to break up. Timi and Busola's marriage is going to, because there's no way that marriage can survive this scandal. There's no way a man will accept the fact that his wife was raped and he'll still be never, they're going to break up. Obviously, we know that Timi was prepared for this position, for this situation, but the mentality is that if you speak, yes, there'll be this initial uproar, but when everything dies down,
To affect you.
it will affect both of your relationship. Do you think that's the right rationale? Or do you think that's our reality? Or do you feel that we should begin to work against that so that people out there can be able to know how to overcome this fear that if I speak out, my husband will divorce me?
I hear you. So first of all, the person who said this is female. The person who said this statement is female.
Right.
That is already a problem.
What do you mean?
I think that
She should
I think
understand better.
I think she should understand better. And I find that women who are supposed to empower each other and support each other the most tend to bring each other down the most. Now, somebody's coming out to say, oh, it's going to affect their marriage. You're almost prophesying that the marriage is going to scatter. You know, it doesn't make sense to me. Meanwhile, what we see is a man who is standing solidly behind his wife. He has fought battles that we don't know anything about up until this day. And he decided that, okay, now is the time. I'm done fighting this battle privately.
Yes.
I'm going to come out now and take this thing, you know, to the court.
People do not understand that.
No,
Nima,
Morayo,
lots of families
let-
don't
let me
understand. They
ask
still
Deyemi.
feel that there's something going to happen.
The sentiment that baffles me is when people say, how dare you bring this against the church and lay curses on. See, what I don't understand is, Shebi na a human being they worship in the church. So is the law different? Or should the injury to Busola be different just because the person is
I'll come
standing
to you. Let me
behind
take
the
Anita. I'll
pulpit?
come to you.
I don't understand.
Anita, are you still there?
Yes, I'm there.
Please go ahead.
I want to ask your guest whether is he involved? Has he ever involved in this kind of act? Let me know. The other of your colleagues there, the way you used to apply makeup is too much. The one that put on with one that cover half of her face. You should please, I beg, it's too much. It makes you look like masquerade.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Anita. We love you.
Right. So,
Okay, so-
we're going to ask Anima's question.
So, is it different because the person is behind the pulpit? Does it make the injury different?
No.
Or does it usually just wipe it away? It didn't happen?
Messi.
Look, first of all, you've said it. We are all human beings. Different expressions of the same thing, and we're supposed to love each other. Now, if anybody contradicts this, I don't care who you are, whether you're in government, whether you're in religion, you know, whatever it is, I believe that you should be treated as equal. That's the reason why we have laws in the first
Well,
place.
this is Nigeria.
No, so
this is
the
Nigeria.
so the problem is with Nigeria and
we're not
Nigerians.
equal. Trust me.
Then we should fight for equality. Isn't that what we're fighting for? Isn't that what we're fighting for? For kids to be listened to and heard as much as adults have been heard. For women to have as much representation as men. You know, that's what we're fighting for, and that's what we need to push. Maybe even our education is part of the problem. And as education has been deteriorating over the years, it seems like as if our people and their ability to empathize and to...
It's going.
It's going.
So I just want to go back to when you said, would this affect their marriage? And, you know, you said something about a female said. But for me, it was not just that the female said. I think a lot of Nigerians sort of said it. Because the first thing I heard across, especially from celebrities, were, "Na man you be, na man you be." Meaning, for me, it came from a place that they expect that a normal person would not do this because it may affect their marriage. So I think Nigerians actually think that when you speak up about rape, especially if you're already in a marriage, it could break up your marriage. And that is where we need to, you know, start thinking again. I'm happy that she has a relationship with, the sort of relationship with her husband. Obviously, this is a conversation that's happened in their home before it came out. And then it's teaching other men now who don't know that you can actually have this sort of conversations with your wife and stand by your wife and publicly come out.
The point you're missing is that certain people, all of us are equal, but certain people are more equal than others.
Animal farm.
We had a rape happen in a cartoon, and because it involved a high-profile person, he suddenly just died. In fact, we brought the young lady here, and us were waiting for the papers to do a follow-up story so we can follow up, and that matter just in this country. So this one we're taking now is because celebrities are now shouting. People are now resorting to public court that we think that we can get justice. But if we wait for the system,
nothing will happen.
In addition to that, Khloe's mother has done the right thing getting this man arrested. But, you know, people will be telling her, you have put this girl out there. So in 5 years, 10 years, and you go out, that's the girl, because they will identify her as that's the girl that they raped.
Which was what you were saying about when you're asking, what should we do? You know, with this child.
So how do we ensure that Khloe grows up and is not stigmatized? What can we do today to begin to change the conversation so that girl can grow up and having a normal life and nobody stigmatizing her as that girl that was raped by Mr. Nobody?
And that's the thing about sexual offenses and, you know, things like rape. Somehow, the person who is the victim is the one that feels the shame. I don't get it.
Feels the shame and gets shame.
Yes, you feel the shame, you get shame. I don't understand how that's... I don't understand why, if you catch an armed robber today, he would not openly walk around. Just a regular thief in the office would be too ashamed to show his face. But someone who commits such a crime, the person who... I don't get that.
You're in the film industry. I've seen movies where a person commits rape and an apology ends the script.
Apology waiting.
I've seen movies where a person commits rape and they join them. I've seen movies.
Yes, you're right.
And an apology should it be the norm? Are we pushing the narrative that is our narrative?
Some of the things that we have pushed in movies may be part of the problem.
Yes.
You know, all these occultic things and, you know, I believe that sometimes they're responsible for some of these things. And I think it's a conversation we need to have. For example, if you look at Hollywood telling us for all these years that America is the greatest country in the world.
Yeah, we all believe that.
We all believed it. I don't think America is the greatest country in the world. I think everybody needs to be involved in this conversation. The people we're calling celebrities, who are really just people who have honed their craft at something and they're celebrated because of it, you know, they're also now being castigated and say, why is it that you are speaking about this one because she's your person? I'm like, okay, so let everybody walk towards being celebrated in their own lives. Then you too can have a voice, right?
Let me take this call from Joseph. I'll come back to you. Joseph, are you still there? He's been holding for a while.
Joseph is there.
Go ahead, please.
Sorry.
I just want to make a short contribution anyway.
Yes.
Very short one.
Go ahead, you're live.
Yeah, I'm here. I want to make a short contribution.
We heard you.
I think we are not being fair to Pastor Fatoyibo.
Okay.
And we are beginning to discuss this issue as if it actually happened. Who is to say that Fatoyibo is not the victim here?
It's possible.
What gives you the impression that this lady was not paid to act the script? So I think we should let the court decide. That's if there's anything to even prove in the first place.
May I answer Joseph quickly? The debate,
Joseph,
are you there?
Anybody can be a victim.
Right.
We agree. And the law is even on his side, so he's innocent until he is proven guilty.
Who said she was even raped?
Hold on a
She's
minute,
not acting in
Joseph.
script.
She says.
All right, thank you very much, Joseph.
The argument is not that he might not be innocent. The argument is, why is he being shielded? Why is he not treated like a normal
Nima,
Nigerian?
I don't even want us to go that far.
No,
Let's not even go to him.
Can I address it?
If somebody accuses, hold on, Moriah.
I don't want us to go to the case.
Again.
Our topic today had nothing to do with Pastor Fatou. Our topic today is about that little girl that was raped. So our objective is rape victims across board in this country. We're not addressing the case of Fatou.
That's where I'm going.
Yes.
If a person is accused of a crime, it doesn't matter whether he did it or not. Only an investigation can settle that.
Right.
But when you stop the investigation because you say he's a particular kind of person, or like this man now we're saying he's being released and people don't know why he's being released. That is not, we want things to happen properly, and this is based on institutions. So if the police know, this is how I face this particular crime, they have a department for it, and they do the needful.
Right.
Nobody will be having this conversation. I even tell Bisola, go and sit and report to police and sit down now.
Yeah.
Do you understand? But the likelihood of the injustice being perfected is why people are screaming.
Yes.
Nobody is saying one person is innocent or one person is guilty.
Very good point.
Nobody has concluded on that.
I think she's said most of it. But the honest truth is that, look, he has been accused. He came out with a press release, stating that he denied the whole thing. He also insinuated that there will be other members of the church who will come out, and lo and behold, other members starting to, so one has come out. So I'm saying, all I'm just saying is that we're trying to be as objective as possible. This allegation has been made, but it's not even the first time this allegation is going to be made, right? But this time, we want to make sure that there's a good resolution. There's a final resolution to it.
One time.
All right, I have to run up on shortly. I have to go on a break. When we come back, we'll try to switch the conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. Let's take a few tweets.
Okay, I love Mr. Dove says, concerning Bukola, you see, touch not my anointed and do my prophet no harm will lead many to hell. Those saying judge not the anointed should read 1 Corinthians 5:12. It doesn't matter how long it takes her, courage is bigger than strength. Shaibu Francis says, rape is the most one-sided argument in the world. When it involves a man, it's not considered, but when it involves a woman, we no go hear word.
People still believe, Kwame Jr. says, every rapist should die for all I care, but you see that Busola, Timi, and Koza rape, saga, like me or not, that lady is here to tell the truth. Take it or leave it, Timi and the wife will regret it. You don't frame someone you obviously had something with.
Okay, so he's saying, I think we need to stop advocating inhuman punishment or relocate to Iran or Pakistan. Civilized humans use long prison to punish crime. Castration is used for child rape offenders, but optionally. In the end, there is no perfect system of...
Okay, we have to run up on this. Dami, I'd like you to say a few words, or final words on this, all the tweets you just heard. Final...
I think we need to be more educated as a people. I think we need to be more considerate as a people and have more empathy. And basing all your thinking on religion. Religion is different from spirituality.
Yes, it is.
Totally different. But basing all your arguments and on religion, it makes no sense. If you were to just put yourself in the shoes of the next person, that's all we're asking.
All right,
that gives us basis to consider what's going on.
We end on that, and I also like to add that it's important that, yes, the Busola Fatou issue is there. But lots of people are leveraging on this example because the fact is there are millions of women that have gone through this process, if it happened.
And men.
Men, young girls and young boys who were raped as children and they are damaged today. They didn't have an opportunity to speak up. Their lives are not have gone wrong because nobody addressed that issue. So this is a template that we're observing, we're seeing. This is a new, this case is out now, but we're going to use that as a reference point. But the real objective is not to prosecute the pastor or even Busola for coming out, is to use this as an example to get others to speak so that more Khloes don't come up in future. We don't want more Khloes. We don't want more children feeling as if their entire lives are destroyed because somebody did this to them. We have to stop it. So stop making, don't make it about the pastor. Oh, you're bringing this a judgment on pastor. It has nothing to do with him. He's so tiny in this matter. Very tiny. We are preventing your children, my children, from going through this experience in future. That's the objective.
Good. Simple.
Right.
Well said, Mariah. Well said.
Next topic. Again, we're minding our business. So this is your celebrity people, your family members. A popular rapper Olamide allegedly said to welcome his third child with an on-air personality, Maria Okan. According to reports, Maria discovered that she was 1 month pregnant for Olamide and requested for the money to terminate the pregnancy. However, she decided to keep the pregnancy. I'm not even sure why we're talking about this, but join the conversation again, 070-8066-8014. Please tweet us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag TVC so we can read your tweets. Okay, how does matter concern you?
Well, adults that are getting intimate, I believe should, if you don't want any form of pregnancy, should use protection. Now you go ahead and have your fun and you're not using protection. Of course, something could happen, and that happened. I want to say that she planned it. She wants to have that baby. That money she collected, she had no plans to go ahead with an abortion. She wanted to have that baby for a celeb. You know the way women pursue these celebrities. And the fact that she knows that he has a fiancé already who's equally pregnant, she wants to have her own child. It's fine.
You don't know that.
No, hold on,
no.
She knows. Definitely she knows.
Now.
It's fine. But tomorrow, we don't want to come and hear that he's a deadbeat dad. He's not paying anything. He's not giving money to you to take care of the child. Because obviously he didn't want the baby, and that's why he paid her.
Would you have rather her kill a human being?
I didn't say that, I don't advocate for abortion.
Okay.
It's illegal. But then use protection.
Right. Okay. So, but the deed has been done. 2 million naira, no 2 million naira. The deed has been done. The baby's there. I'm keeping it. I think it's her right to choose.
Tomorrow he's not paying school fees. He's not taking care
Well,
of
he
the
has
child.
to. It's his child, regardless. Yes, Nima.
I think the point is what we're missing. The point is that some women are in this business of, forcing a guy into a permanent relationship with them. So some women, I grew up finding girls who would just say, but you will take your baby, so just get pregnant. So you tie him down with pregnancy, because those days they usually carry shotgun to their house and say, now you get the belly, now you, carry, now marry. So this way, it sort of became a trend. So you're trying to get a guy, you love him, you just get pregnant for him. I think that is where we are, the deceit, and what women do, this business of it that they do. This lady knew he had a relationship. Is a celebrity, yes or no? And, the pregnancy happened, yes or no? Still, you went further in another deceit, got money from him, telling him you do something separate. So this guy certainly didn't want ties with him. If he wanted to be tied to her, he would have said, keep my baby. But she asked for 2 million, he gave her 2 million.
So why did he touch her in the first place?
I don't understand.
If you don't want, why did you touch her? Why did you go and touch?
I don't subscribe to premarital sex. So I'm not...
No, comes as a
No.
take the responsibility.
We give you the option, you can abort. No, that's not the debate. That's not the debate. Let's address ourselves. The deceit. So me, if I was that kind of girl, I want to have a relationship with you. Hold on a minute, let me finish. I will relationship with you, and I'll walk away.
Mistakes happen,
If you love me,
mistakes happen. You may not have been deceived.
Mistakes happen. Then be bold. Yes. If mistakes happen, mistakes led to a pregnancy. Don't tell the guy you're going to have an abortion.
Exactly.
Guy, see, you don't want baby. Go your own. I will keep my baby. I will not take 2 million from you and go abroad and go and born baby. I'm telling you.
Let me hear your thoughts on this.
This is a very sensitive issue.
Yeah.
And I'm amongst women. So I have to be
very
careful.
careful.
But the truth is that 2 million naira. Okay, that's 2 million naira. No. Come on now. Let's be reasonable here. I think that we have two adults who had consensual relationship, and well,
the result
fortunately, because every child is a blessing.
Yeah,
exactly.
A child is as a result. Again, I in this age that we're in, where women are equal to men, I don't think anybody should try and put any child on any man as his responsibility. If you're going to make the choice, it's your choice.
Right.
It's a woman's choice to keep a child, right?
Yeah.
Keep that choice, but keep that responsibility.
Let me take this call and I'll come to you, Mariam. Hello, are you there?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. First of all, I just want to correct that impression your guest just said. Women are equal to men. Men can't have children. Women can, so we are not equal. We have different responsibilities and different positions in life. That's it. Okay. Now, for this rape issue, we should start treating rapists as criminals, which they are.
Thank you.
Identify them. They are criminals.
That's all.
Being a victim of robbery, being a victim of assassination, those people are criminals. Anybody that rapes anybody is a criminal. We should sound it out, not the victims that are to blame. These criminals are walking everywhere. The laws are making them go free. The laws in this country are not strong enough for these criminals. They are criminals.
Yes, thank you very much, Chinelo.
Thank you. Ladies.
Thank you very much, Chinelo.
Thank
Yes,
you.
you're going to say something.
No, please, because I need to address. You address me first.
Yeah.
Which one is it? Are women? No, because we have to.
You guys
let's
are
get
confused,
in there.
right?
No, because what's going on?
Let's have this.
What's going on? Are we? I mean,
all
should I treat you as equal to me?
This one, there are two different things.
It's who carries the responsibility.
No.
See the consequence of sex.
The
Now, one
first
person
thing
will carry
she
am.
said was that, let me correct your guess. Women and men are not equal because women carry children and men cannot. That doesn't.
So what I want to listen.
And men and women are we equal?
There are two things I want to say here.
Okay, say it.
One, men and women are equal as regards to rights.
Yeah.
Okay.
What she's saying is the mathematical equation of
The biological.
two. I mean, mathematical like 2 is equal to 2. So you can't say 2 that carries a baby. It's not equal to 2 at the raise of power 2. It's not equal to 2.
You have made it scientific now.
But the point is the biology of it. So one person
biology
has
of
a
it,
womb,
yes.
one person doesn't. So if we have sex, let's say we do this secretly, me and you are cheating, we go and cheat. You will walk freely. You, what do we know? But me, I will live with the consequences.
Okay.
People can't
That's
see.
what Chinelo
That's what
meant.
she's trying to say, that
alright,
it's not equal and the
So
consequences
we are
of it is
equal
not equal.
in that right.
We have the so we are equal in terms of we have the choice to keep the break because it's a choice.
Somebody
still.
has to make the tough decision of whether I can abort it or not. Which is, she's trying to say, the lady, maybe she bailed out.
Confused,
maybe she got to the point of abortion. I can't kill a baby. It's her own choice.
Okay, but men
It's
and
not inside but that
women,
body.
men and women.
We are not equal in that decision.
Nima. Let's rewind a bit. I think it's
Let's just
important
make
to. We made a point. Well, see, you made a point that no. We're trying to correct it.
Okay.
You are pregnant for me, I am the man. Both of us should be equally responsible.
Exactly.
Both of us should be equal. So don't tell me
If we are married,
the
Mariah,
narrative we have today, because you're the one that's pregnant, you carry the
If we are
it
not
shouldn't
married,
be.
It shouldn't be, yes.
Both of us should be responsible because we both have. So that's the equality that we're talking about.
But we don't have the equal responsibility of making that decision.
We have to.
Because you already said it. You said it's the woman's decision.
No, that's what she said. I'm saying no. It's both of us now. Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, okay.
I don't want to make that point because I don't want to support it.
Okay.
But it's a tougher decision before the person whose body the thing will be done.
Right.
Whose conscience knows, because there's this tie. So it's tougher for the girl. She can reach London, 2 million or not, and say, I can't kiss somebody. Okay. Do you understand? Bros is still wandering around here.
It's just like the way
it was until after I was able to confess now.
Let me go ahead.
You want to speak? Okay. So the way I see it, what is inside, the seed that is inside the man is the man's right and it's his responsibility how he uses it. When the seed meets meets the egg. Now wait now. Yes, and now gets the egg. See, I'm even on your side. So it gets to the egg. So there's a partnership in this. The process of getting there's a partnership. And when there's a partnership, there's compromise. And for it to work, you have to trust each other. But in one case, one person has sort of reneged on the agreement. But the thing is that what is inside the belly, the egg and the baby, and it is that person's right. The person reserves the right to do have whatever or not have it.
Okay. But you know,
hold on. Okay. And then when the baby comes out.
That's another partnership, which could have been marriage, a relationship, and it's a compromise, whatever. But also, we have had people who do not take that part of the contract and they decide to run away from their responsibility. And then we have some people who decide, yes, I have this thing came out of me, but I do not want you involved. So we know partnerships are not solid.
Mariam,
you can only
why are we making him responsible after the baby comes out? He's also just as responsible when he's still when the baby is in the tummy.
I am even
if he's not married, you can't sign a consent form for a procedure. If while the pregnancy is there, maybe she has an emergency, they need to do a surgery. He cannot sign. They're not married.
Let me take this call. Come to your bedroom.
They're not married.
Hello, are you there?
They're not married.
That's the legal angle. Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. Let's talk about the Busola's case first.
Oh, brother.
Drop the Busola, please. Drop the Busola. Go ahead. It's your view. You are entitled to your view. Go ahead, please.
That's where else come by your business.
Yeah, hello, good morning.
Go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Ebilomo. First of all, I want to believe pregnancy doesn't appear in 1 month. You don't know a lady's pregnant for 1 month. Pregnancy starts for 3 months.
No.
Let him talk now.
Yes. Having said that, then the Busola and the rape issue and all of that. From the findings I got, this has happened over 20 years ago.
On social media, right? That's the findings.
Yes, that is what I heard. And you want to believe what you heard to a fault until proven otherwise. I'm talking based on the facts that I have now. This happened 20 years ago. Nothing was said about it. But because the perpetrator did not stop, it kept on in such acts. And I think it is time for our voice to be heard.
Okay.
I know a lot of critics will come up and say, why didn't you speak out this long? This happened, you kept it to yourself. Fine. There are some factors we need to consider based on this person's personality. She might not want to talk. You don't know, maybe her life is under threat, not to say anything. If she says this, she's going to die and all of that.
Thank you very much, Ebilomo. Yes, Sobiajali, thanks something.
So, when they say marry before you do, so that when the baby comes, the baby is under protection. We say we don't want to hear that one. We are Western, Abi. That is the result. Now, when there's no marriage, the child belongs to the woman. There's a tribe in the country that if you have a child without your bride price being paid, the child comes to your family. The child bears your family. Igbo. The child bears your family name. So if I had a child now without being married, that child will bear my father's name, which is EJ. Do you understand? So the woman has the right to do whatever with what she's carrying when there's no marriage, there's no contract, you have not paid, nothing has happened. I can even say you are not the owner of the baby. It happens. So it's the woman's responsibility more for that child that she's carrying. That's how I see it.
Yes,
that's how I see it.
It's true, but that's
she can't.
She just answered you now. She just answered you that they will carry the child and it becomes that family's responsibility.
Yes, because
so that
no
when somebody,
money on top.
who was it saying that we don't want to hear in the future that somebody's calling somebody a deadbeat dad
I said that
because
as well.
they're not taking care of the
So,
child.
I mean, if this lady takes care of this child, just like you said, Olamide shouldn't come tomorrow. No, she shouldn't complain that Olamide is not paying
because Olamide didn't want in the first place.
The baby's school fees because he's not. They're not married. That's what you're saying. That's when it happened with Two-Face. Did we not all shout and scream?
It's easier said than done. All those things are easier said, and you never know. I mean, anything can happen in the future. We've heard of instances where these things happen and then people got together and they got married and you know.
But he has a fiancé.
Fiancé.
Okay, sorry.
That's the legal angle. Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. Let's talk about the Busola's case first.
Oh, brother.
Drop the Busola, please. Drop the Busola. Go ahead. It's your view. You are entitled to your view. Go ahead, please.
That's where else come by your business.
Yeah, hello, good morning.
Go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Ebilomo. First of all, I want to believe pregnancy doesn't appear in 1 month. You don't know a lady's pregnant for 1 month. Pregnancy starts for 3 months.
No.
Let him talk now.
Yes. Having said that, then the Busola and the rape issue and all of that. From the findings I got, this has happened over 20 years ago.
On social media, right? That's the findings.
Yes, that is what I heard. And you want to believe what you heard to a fault until proven otherwise. I'm talking based on the facts that I have now. This happened 20 years ago. Nothing was said about it. But because the perpetrator did not stop, it kept on in such acts. And I think it is time for our voice to be heard.
Okay.
I know a lot of critics will come up and say, why didn't you speak out this long? This happened, you kept it to yourself. Fine. There are some factors we need to consider based on this person's personality. She might not want to talk. You don't know, maybe her life is under threat, not to say anything. If she says this, she's going to die and all of that.
Thank you very much, Ebilomo. Yes, Sobiajali, thanks something.
So, when they say marry before you do, so that when the baby comes, the baby is under protection. We say we don't want to hear that one. We are Western, Abi. That is the result. Now, when there's no marriage, when there's no marriage, the child belongs to the woman. There's a tribe in the country that if you have a child without your bride price being paid, the child comes to your family. The child bears your family. Igbo. The child bears your family name. So if I had a child now without being married, that child will bear my father's name, which is EJ. Do you understand? So the woman has the right to do whatever with what she's carrying when there's no marriage, there's no contract, you have not paid, nothing has happened. I can even say you are not the owner of the baby. It happens. So it's the woman's responsibility more for that child that she's carrying. That's how I see it.
Yes,
that's how I see it.
It's true, but that's
she can't.
She just answered you now. She just answered you that they will carry the child and it becomes that family's responsibility.
Yes, because
so that
no
when
money
somebody, who was it saying that we don't want to hear in the future that somebody's calling somebody a deadbeat dad
I said that
because
as well.
they're not taking care of
So
the child.
I mean, if this lady takes care of this child, just like you said, Olamide shouldn't come tomorrow. No, she shouldn't complain that Olamide is not paying
because Olamide didn't want in the first place.
The baby's school fees because he's not. They're not married. That's what you're saying. That's when it happened with Two-Face. Did we not all shout and scream?
It's easier said than done. All those
Done.
things are easier said. And you never know. I mean, anything can happen in the future. We've heard of instances where these things happen and then people got together and they got married and you know.
But he has a fiancé.
Fiancé.
Okay, sorry.
Fiancé. So, but I mean, there's no black and white. People can live, you know, whatever lifestyles that they choose to live and still make it work for them. So let's allow them as two adults to figure it out.
Mariam, go ahead.
Okay, you know, there's some people who would say to you, I just want to be a single mother. I don't need anything from you. And then you're right. In the future, they want more. But also, we forget that this child would grow up and want to, if you take the child away from the father, this child might decide, I want to go and meet my father. And now we have another story of this man living his life quietly with his family, and then he now has to introduce someone he didn't even know existed to his family. I think that when women make these decisions, we should think
holistically.
Through. Yes,
but then there's another side
look
to it.
To the future.
You see, Igbo people, when they started to do premarital and allow people rights, they always think of it. So co-parenting or, you know, joint custody are things that Igbo people have really said to, but these things confuse us here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you see, maybe you rejected that plan, you will not see that child.
At all.
That child, you will not see that child. You will now bring a child into a battle the child knows nothing about. So if we cannot be mature about this decision,
don't bother.
The consequences are too far-reaching. If you are not mature, don't do. Don't do it.
If you want to do, use protection.
No, that's not money.
I mean, it's too small.
So you have a child. Maybe the decision would be.
I didn't even know.
Maybe the decision would be. You understand that, okay, yes, even I took this money, it's just my settlement to go and start a life. I want this child. I'll keep my child. If he's growing up, be mature. Don't plant in his head the enmity or the stories of how bad his dad was or how he rejected him. Also talk about the part where you made the decision that could affect his life and how you don't judge him about it. How you live with it till the child is mature enough to accept
Let me flip
reality.
the script a bit because there are lots of baby mama dramas going. I know Olamide hasn't had the history of trying to do baby. He's been a really gentleman in a lot of ways. But you are in that lifestyle. You are in that lifestyle of the celebrity, not this kind of lifestyle. We know you're a good man. We know you're a good man.
Calm down. By God's grace.
We know you recently took your wife on a honeymoon trip that you owed her from after wedding. So we know the gist. So you're a good man. Trust me. A lot of people have not gone to honeymoon. Trust me. Anyways, the point I'm trying to make is that in this your celebrity life, the fact that there are lots of people feeling that need to be baby mamas for celebrities. They want to just have a child for this big person because they feel that, listen, no matter whatever way, let me just know that at least this person will be sending me something every month for upkeep. As a man in this industry, how do you, I don't want to use the word protect yourself, but how do you ensure you are responsible?
Don't cheat on your wife.
So there are two things here. The first thing, and I think it has to be a campaign now, that there's no difference between the individual and the celebrity, quote and unquote. This thing that you're talking about, I promise you that it happens everywhere. It's not just happening.
Right.
Do you only have baby mamas with celebrities? No. So it's a general issue.
It's the people that we don't know that they're on.
So let's first understand that. So it's a general issue. Now, the second part where everybody should be careful of, including the celebrities, is really and truly, if you want to avoid, the only way to avoid such things is to avoid such things.
Avoid it well.
It's just avoid such things.
Don't even have the relationship.
I was telling somebody the other day that one of the things I did early on was to make sure that my house was so comfortable that I didn't have to go anywhere. Because it's when you go outside
You see things.
that you see things and they offer you things.
And you collect
And
it.
then you...
Thank you, Amy. Thank you for taking us there because you're a man. We want to enter your head. Help us. What are the kind of things they bring to you? Help us see. What do you on a daily? I mean, when you go out, what are the kinds of things that you see? Help us, wives, housewives.
Have you been on my Instagram page recently?
No, she
I follow
hasn't.
you.
Advice, you know, recently I said, you know,
Please tell our viewers who have
because I'm getting to that point. Look, it's a lot. It's a lot. Again, people say, I don't know how to say this.
Say it now.
But you know this man is married. But you're offering him things. I mean, how does that? Where's this woman eating?
Both of us don't have value. Both of
People
us don't
say
have value.
celebrities get nudes in their DMs.
Oh, down the standard.
So you get
So you get a nude picture
Yes.
sent to you?
So you also get people say to you, I could give you this.
Hold on. The thing you're asking me what things that
Yes,
they will
yeah.
tell you what they will do to you.
Jesus Christ.
I will do you like this. No, to you. I will do you to you.
Okay.
I will do you like this, spin you like that, overtake you like this. You know, and they will tell you. Meanwhile, the wife at home is wearing wrapper. And she just watching that reality TV show that is on right now. Let's not mention him. You know, and there's that going on. And so in my head, I'm thinking, how do we get wives to kind of capture this imagination of their husbands again? You know, and also husbands to be more accepting. Because I got to a point where I just really decided, I looked at my wife one day, I said, you know what?
Careful.
I'm going to accept you the way you are. I'm going to accept you
Rapper
exactly.
and all.
I'm going to love you. And look, we've been married for 6 years. And I promise you that we're having the best sex of our lives in recent times.
Fantastic.
And it was really because, on my part, I got to the point where I said, you know what, I accept you. I'm more anything else.
So it's a decision a man must make. I'll come to you. I'll come to you. Nick, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Sorry for keeping
How
you for
are
so long. I
ladies?
do apologize. Go ahead, please.
He's going to kill me.
Okay. You ladies are doing very well.
Thank you.
I'd like to point Chinelo made on this Olamide case.
Okay.
The point is this: as a nation, we need to develop our laws. There should be laws that guide the existence of people. All these are the lacunas within our laws. We don't have laws that address these issues. So we need laws in place to guide everyone on what you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So when you're voting in your House of Assembly members, the National Assembly
discussing
members,
things like
these
this.
are the kind of
things
issues
you bring
you
up.
need to bring up. Not, president. They are
Give
real
us rights.
issues. Those laws need to
us
change.
middles.
Going back to our gist. Mariam, go ahead.
So the thing is that you communicated with your wife,
Yes.
right? You had a conversation. We have that issue where people always say men don't speak their minds. So what is it that makes you, okay, you have these conversations coming in your DMs and you're already comparing what you have on the outside with what you have on the inside. When is it time to say to your wife, this is what I'm seeing and this is what I would like and this is... Did you have that conversation
If you like
even?
it.
So if you like what?
If you like it, what you're seeing from the outside.
And you have to be very sensitive about these matters.
Okay.
Because how many women really want to hear and be told these things and it won't cause problems, you know. So you have to get to a point where, and for me, what really happened, that we got to a point where, you know, it was either we continue or we don't continue, right? Because it's really, it's a lot of pressure, you know, knowing that,
lifetime one,
your lifestyle, knowing that the kind of circles that you deal with, you know, these are the things that come at you. So we sat down and we had series of conversations, you know, just to say, how do we make this work? How do we make things work better?
So a question that a lot of people would like to ask you. Oh, I have to go on a break. Jeez.
Oh, God. I want to cry.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So during the break, you're telling us how to stop a man from cheating. Is that possible?
Okay, so I said recently that I said just now that on my Instagram I've been sharing some words of advice.
Right.
And the next thing I wanted to share was to say how to stop a man from cheating or how to stop your man from cheating. And when you slide over to the next page, the answer will be, you can't. Because you can't. Only a man can decide whether or not he's going to be faithful, one. But you can support your man.
How?
In so many ways. And I think I would use myself as, and I try to use personal examples. I remember when I first got married, my girlfriend immediately turned into a wife. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Feel the role,
she
sharp.
immediately turned into wife.
There's a difference.
There's a difference. Because it was my girlfriend that was my best friend, that I could tell everything. But the minute she turned into wife and I said, hey, babe, it's Friday night, let's go out. No, Friday, And then after a while, I started going out without her, and then it became, should the responsible man be going out? And I'm like, but I want to go out. No, because I wasn't that much of a social person. But once in a while, you want to go out, And then it became, come out with me. Then again, that's you not supporting, And over time, you start to learn the different things that you can do. Having open conversations, being open enough for your husband to be able to tell you things. There's pressure. There's always somebody around, either a man or a woman, who that person might be attracted to other than yourself. But the beginning thoughts of attraction should be shared. There's one person, that person is, is doing this or saying that or being this type of way. It has to be said, because if you don't voice it out, that's when it starts to grow and fester and turn into something else. And then it gets to a point where you can't say, when the conversation starts, you can't start to talk about it again.
Emotional affairs.
So it's not just men needing support from women. Women also need support from their men. But again, we know that women have been taught all their lives, to be a certain way. And most men, but most men were never told anything. How do we then expect that our men that we never groomed to be faithful, quote unquote, will just automatically one day just change?
So should we be retraining our children? So you're training the boy and the girl to act the same way.
No, that's not about ourselves. We're talking about wives right now.
Wait. And then retrain our young girls who are getting into marriage. That when you get into marriage, those things that was attracted him to you, maintain it and continue. Don't just change your role because you feel, now I'm a wife, now I can tie rapper. If you are wearing bomb shorts before, continue.
We have to bring it back. But you see, I don't want to even go to the part of the children yet. Because there are a lot of housewives watching us right now.
I know.
I want to know what they're doing wrong.
And I was going to address that as well. And it's across board. And I think that I think you can rekindle 20-year marriages, 30-year marriages. As long as there's a some people say that it takes two to tango. Sometimes it just takes one person making that decision that, you know what, let's change how things operate around here. I want to show and express love. It will take a while. Like, I literally had to sit down and I had these conversations and I said, look, I accept you exactly the way you are. Now I hope that a better version of yourself you would achieve, right? You would evolve into it. But as you are, and whatever permutation
are we communicating to men out there that if your wife is in wrapper,
it's not a bad idea,
and not wearing weave on, she doesn't like makeup, she's probably added a few pounds, you should accept her like that.
Accept her and let her know that she's accepted.
Hey.
First of all, let her know that she's accepted. See, baby, I love you.
The way you are.
The way you are.
But you can get better.
But I'm buying bomb shots for you.
Right. Okay. Or I'd like you to lose some weight.
Even go somewhere. There's a conversation.
Let's start by taking a walk around the house, around the neighborhood, which is, those are the little things that you encourage, these changes. You can't force it, and you can't demean somebody and expect those changes to happen. It wouldn't happen.
There's something I hear. There's something I hear young boys say when we're growing up. Boys at that age used to say it, and now I hear boys now, younger boys say it, which is, I'm going to do all I need to do, do all the girls I need to do, so that when I get married, then is it possible? I want boys to hear, because they feel that if I just do everything now, when I get into marriage, somehow in marriage there's a spirit that will just land on me and it will stop.
Without exposing too much, it never happens like that. It never happens like that. You would only continue to be who you are. You can't flip the script. And until you sit down, except you sit down right before marriage and you reprogram your mind. And there are steps. I'm sure you know that there are steps to reprogramming your mind. Right? And again, to women who want to get married, you better be seeing somebody taking those steps of reprogramming his mind.
Before you get in.
Before you get in. Because if you've been running a marathon, yourself personally, and you see a man, let me put it this way. If your man tells you, your man tells you that he's preparing for an exam,
Right.
you will see him reading books. Right. You will know. He doesn't have to tell you. You see a man behaving in a certain way, you know he's preparing for a marathon. A man who's reprogramming himself for marriage, you can see. But you also have to know what those things are.
So unfortunately, we have to run out. Thank you so much.
You gotta come back.
Nah.
Right, bring it back, please.
We love it when real men come on the show. We really like to have real men on the show. Congratulations to your wife and the family. That's fantastic. That's all we can take. Have a fabulous weekend. We'll see you Monday. Bye-bye.